Good evening. It's Friday once again. Welcome back to my man cave. Glad you can be with us tonight. Let's see. We got brother Jeff hanging out in here. Hey Jeff.
How's it going?
Jeff, your audio's a little weird. Say something else.
How's it going?
Your audio is real scratchy here. I'm not sure what's going on.
All right, let me reset my Bluetooth.
It might be your mic. I'll take you back down here for just a minute. And Tanya's with us. It looks like Lily's showing Tanya her butt.
Yeah,
Tanya, you having a drink with us tonight?
I am having some coffee.
Some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get into the Elmer T. Lee tonight, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, this is really good. I really shouldn't be drinking this because I don't know where my next bottle's coming from. This stuff's really hard to come by, but it's really good bourbon. So I'm gonna have a Friday night size glass. See, Jeff's back in there. Let's see if Jeff's. Hey, Jeff.
How's my mic now?
That's perfect.
that's good.
You got it. You got it. I don't know what it was the first time. It just sounded real gravelly or something. Janice, glad you could be with us tonight. Stephen. Yeah, we've got a ginger cat. So, Jeff, are you having a drink with us tonight?
Absolutely. Jack number 7.
Oh, yeah. I got out the Elmer T. Lee tonight. So, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Russ is having a Aberfeldy single malt. I haven't gotten my Scotch whiskey out lately. I think if I remember to do that next week, I'll get the Highland Park back out. That's one of 2 bottles that I have that are pretty good. Hank, glad you could make it with us tonight. A Carajillo. I'm not sure what that is, Stephen. Maybe you can clue me in on that.
I'd like to give a
with us.
shout out and a hello to
Mom's
my
it.
favorite mother-in-law.
Oh boy, mom's having
Mom's in
having
the
a
house.
margarita. mom's gonna tie one on with us tonight, guys. So, Mom, I'm glad
Cool.
you could be out there. Don't make me have to come down there. Wild turkey honey. I haven't tried the wild turkey honey, but I have tried the Jack Daniels honey, and that's one I particularly like to cook with too. I'm out of it, but maybe when I buy another bottle, I'll buy that wild turkey and see how it goes. Ozarko water. Okay. Ensign red. Levi's having an ensign red. I'm not familiar with that one either. So guys,
But
let me
Levi
get over here.
always has something interesting. He's the one that had that pickle beer.
Yeah. Let me get the comments up here where I can kind of see what's going on too. Thanks for joining us tonight. Leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I'm trying to get an idea, of how far we reach. I've usually got a few Australians in here, but moving back an hour has probably hurt me on the European side a little bit because it's midnight. It's beyond midnight over there by the time I get started now. So, Mom wants some of that turkey. Mom, I'm going to cook you a turkey. You're going to get a whole turkey, and you're going to get a different one from the one I did today. We'll talk about that later for sure. So Brian was saying he went to Atlanta Grill Company. I missed that comment.
I'll try to get it back. The comments are coming in fast and furious.
See, Brian got stuck in awful traffic down to Atlanta from North Carolina. So he's going to hit Atlanta Grill Company on the way home Sunday. That'll be good. Grilling and chilling with Coleman. Glad you could be in here with us tonight. Mark and Laurie from Syracuse. Eagle Rare. Yeah. Jeff and I both like Eagle Rare. And I've got a little bit of that in the cabinet too. I've got a full bottle and a partial. So
And look who's here. Hey,
T-Roy.
T-Roy.
Troy, glad you could be here with us. Troy's probably got him a PBR in one hand and a cigar in the other hand. Let's see what he's doing. Louisiana's with us tonight. All right. Tanya, I'm going to drop you down and we'll bring you back here in a little bit. I've got some, this software that I'm using to live stream with, there's some upgrades coming out this week that might give me a little bit better functionality when I bring Jeff in here with me. I've got to look into that. They just announced it in the last couple of days, or I just got the notification of it today when I logged in to set this stream up. So we may have some additional functionality coming down the road for Jeff to help me co-host. I don't actually know what all Jeff can see on his end, because Jeff's not an admin, but I can give Jeff the co-host status. Jeff, can you see all the comments? Do you have a comment window where you can see all the comments? Okay. Well,
I see them all coming up on your side of the screen.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can give you a screen that looks like mine, and we'll have to play with that. That upgrade was $8 a month or something. It wasn't very expensive, so I'm probably going to go ahead and do it, and then we can experiment with that a little bit more. Turbo trussers. Somebody just commented about turbo trussers. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute too. It's the gadget. That's my gadget of the week. But let's see. Tom's having a salted caramel whiskey. That sounds good, man. Salted caramel. I remember the first time I tasted salted caramel, I said, "Who the heck would put salt on caramel?" And now I don't want it unless it's got salt on it. It's amazing what a little pinch of salt can do for something that's sweet. It really amps up the flavor of what's already there. Brent, glad you could join us. The turkey trusser. Yeah, I need to invite Brian, the guy that makes the turbo trusser. His name's Brian Halasinski. We'll talk about him here in just a minute. Let me bring my pictures up because there's another gadget I want to show you this week. This is a new product from Fireboard. You guys know how I love my Fireboard temperature control system. Fireboard has announced this guy this week, and Atlanta Grill Company is taking pre-orders for this thing today. It's called the Fireboard Spark. And this photo, or this rendering of this device here, you can see that what this is it's an instant read thermometer. It's a tool, you know, much like a Thermapen. It's got a swing out probe on it. It's got a huge LCD on it, a very easy to read LCD, and it's a K-couple thermoprobe that's on that thing, so it's very fast. It's going to be very fast, and this thing's splash proof. I think I can't remember what the IP rating on it is, but it's rated for quick submersions in water, which will make it easy to clean up. But this guy also has a K-couple probe port on one end of it, where you can plug in one of the probes that's like the probe on the Fireboard Pro, and you can use this as a leave-in thermometer as well. And also, this device is Wi-Fi ready, so you can monitor this device with your Fireboard app on your smartphone, and this device will also act as a display to display temperatures that are being reported back from another Fireboard. It's got a whole lot of cool functionality. If you go to Atlanta Grill Company's page on this, there's a link to a YouTube video, which shows you a little bit more about this device. This device is supposed to drop at the end of this month, if I remember correctly. Jeff, do you remember if it was like November? It's right around Thanksgiving. This guy's supposed to drop, right?
Yep.
So I can't wait to get my hands on one of these. I'll have one as soon as it's humanly possible, and I will do a video, a demo of this device. I'm really excited about this. There's only one aspect of this thing that I'm not sure about how well I like it. One of the very few things I don't like about Fireboard, and this is not really a problem, it's just a hang up for me personally. These things all run. This thing's rechargeable. It's got a USB-C port on it, probably, where you plug it in and you charge up its internal battery. So, but the way they talk, the battery life on this thing's incredibly long on a full charge. I believe the video I watched where they announced this thing said that it had a 2,600 milliamp hour battery in it, which is pretty good. And Coleman, yeah, the MSRP on this guy's $149. It's retailing for $149, and like I said, Atlanta Grill Company's taking pre-orders for it. So if you want to get one of these out of the first shipment of those that come out, I recommend getting that order in early. I don't know how many pre-orders they'll take, or I don't know how many they're getting in their first shipment. I don't have any idea. I don't know what vampire drain it means there, Brian. I'm not sure. So, but this thing, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm a big fan of Fireboard, and I will have one of these. So if you don't want to get on the early bandwagon, wait till I put my video on it out, because I'll show you everything it's capable of, and I'll even do we'll do a speed comparison of that one beside my Thermapen 1. And I'll probably put just for shits and giggles. Oops, my mom's watching. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So we'll compare. We'll throw in the Lava Tools Javelin Pro also, because that's one of my go-to thermometers. We'll compare them all and get a little speed test to see how fast this guy is compared to the ones that are state of the art in the market. But this is a brand new product. They just announced it this week. I believe it was on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday at noon. I believe it was noon Eastern time. They ran their launch video on this. So what do you think about that, Jeff?
I think it's pretty cool. I like the idea of basically it's kind of a mini Fireboard if you look at it, in that term. You got one port on it that you can monitor. You can monitor it with your Fireboard app. So, I mean, you kind of got the best of both worlds. You got the Fireboard and you got an instant read, on top of it. So when you look at it in that terms, the price is pretty good.
Yeah, it won't run a fan, but that's not what it's designed to do. So that's why you need a fire. This is an accessory to your Fireboard. Or if you're cooking on a pellet grill or something else that doesn't need a fan, this could be the only device you need. You could easily get away. When I was running probes into my pellet grills, I'm rarely ever probing more than one piece of meat. Even if I've got more than one in there, I'll typically, what I do is probe the smallest one, and I'm generally good to go with something like that. So that's where we are on that. And I know everybody wants to have a look at this turbo trusser. So let me show you that. There's two versions of this. All right, here's how I got introduced to the turbo trusser. I was scrolling through the Atlanta Grill Company Fan Zone Facebook group a while back, and this guy posted a picture of a chicken that he had cooked, and it was trussed with this metal trussing device that you see in my hands here. And I had never seen anything like it before. So I asked him, I said, what is that? And interestingly enough, the guy that posted the picture is the guy that developed this product. He made this. This is called a turbo trusser. This one's got a likeness of a chicken on it. I cooked a turkey today, so my turkey version is dirty. So I don't have it sitting here to show you. So when he showed me this, or when I realized what that was, I said, I'm going to try this out. So I ordered one. I jumped online and I ordered one from him immediately. $14.99 for this thing. If you hate it, you're only out of $14.99. But if you cook a lot of chickens and cook them whole like I do, this is a really cool device. I'm really happy with it. I've cooked the chicken with this one, and I've cooked the turkey with the other one, and we're going to look at some pictures here of all of that. So this thing comes in a retail blister package, just like you see here. It comes with the 2 hooks and the back plate. And this is kind of what it looks like on the bird. This was a cheap chicken that I had, and you can kind of see here my chicken. This plate fits around the legs. And one thing before I go any further, if you'll notice here, that hole serves a purpose, and it's kind of hard to see without me having done it, which I haven't done, but you can run your rotisserie rod through that. You can truss your bird and throw it on the rotisserie with this truss on it. So my chicken had lost both of its wingtips during processing, which I find that to be an issue quite often on cheap chickens, and this was a cheap chicken. It wasn't one of the better chickens that I normally buy, but I was still able to hook it through the flat, and it held up just fine, you know. And also, when you've got it trussed, you can grab it by that plate and pick it up. It makes an easy enough handle to grab that chicken and put it on the grill. So I seasoned this one up, and Jeff, this rub that's on there is version 2 of Mixon's keto friendly rub. I just left the I left the monk fruit out of it altogether, and I'm perfectly happy with that on a chicken. So I actually put a little more on it before I shot that picture, but I got it seasoned up nicely. And there's another view of the back plate. And I tossed it on the grill. I tossed it on the Classic 3, and I cooked it till it was nice and dark. And you can see that this is the truss holds on. It doesn't move. It doesn't let up anywhere. And there's my finished chicken with this turbo trusser holding that guy together. And my pictures are out of sequence here. So, but that's what the turbo trusser does, and it takes all of 10 seconds to put that on the bird. It really goes on quickly and easily.
I like the fact that you don't get any of your lines left over from doing your conventional string truss, with that
string truss. And the way my string truss that I use shapes the bird differently than this system does. This creates more of a traditional truss. The string truss that I do separates the legs. It pulls the legs away from the body and does a little bit different style of cook. But even I just find it irritating to cut those strings off, because they get embedded in the skin when you've got them tight. And I've often pulled skin loose, taking my trussing strings off. Coleman, it is a lot easier than string. I'm sold on this, and I'm probably going to buy some more of these, because when it comes to the time where I'm going to cook multiple chickens at one time, I'm going to want several of them. I'll probably have at least 4 of those guys. So anyway, since these pictures are on, this stuff came in. I told you guys a while back I was ordering this what's it called? I'm drawing this Modernist Pizza. Thank you, Tanya. This is from the Modernist Cuisine series. This is a book set. It's a geeky book set on pizza. If you're familiar with the Modernist Cuisine stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's Alton Brown and Kenji Lopez all combined, and they're all smoking crack. They're wide open. This is as geeky as it gets. And Tanya bought me the Modernist Cuisine at Home book a few weeks ago, and I've really found some cool stuff in that. And when I found out about this Modernist pizza set, I went and had a look at it and said, I'd really like to have that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's expensive. This thing retails for about $400 for this set. But I had a bunch of credit on Amazon. My Amazon Prime Visa card builds up credit, and I had enough credit sitting there to buy this where it only cost me like $7 or $8 out of pocket. But these books, and also I haven't torn into these books yet. I haven't opened one of them to look inside yet, because I think I told you guys last week I've started keto. And today's like day 16 or day 17 on my keto diet. So pizzas are going to come on cheat days. And the next pizza that I do, I'll probably use some of the information from this big 3-volume set to make my next pizza. And just these books aren't like your regular cookbooks. These books are like coffee table books. Those 3 books and that metal bookcase that comes in, along with the spiral bound kitchen manual, that's nearly 50 pounds. It's insanely heavy. It's really, these books are huge. They're not really small at all. So that's Jeff, we're gonna have to up our pizza game somehow or another. I got to figure out how to make pizzas that can somehow be in the ballpark with what Luca and Freddie are making. I gotta get there somehow or another.
They do turn out some nice looking pizzas. I mean, like I say, being at the Ace convention with Freddie and Luca, that turned my pizza game all around. And yeah, I'm turning out some nice pizzas. I'm launching them good. I'm real happy with where my pizza's at. But I do want to try to get into a sourdough pizza. Oh
yeah, sourdough. The technique on sourdough, the only difference is the ferment. It's going to be a longer ferment. The sourdough yeast, the home cultured yeast that you're using with a sourdough starter, is not as robust a yeast as your commercial yeast is. It takes longer. And I've made a lot of sourdough pizzas, but I haven't quite figured out which process I think works best. And T-Roy, I don't know. I think I probably won't ever do that. It would be like me asking you to make a bowl of chili that had beans in it, brother. It's against the law. I've seen pizzas made with.
The closest thing I found is the cauliflower.
I've seen that done, and I'm just not going to do it. It may be edible, yes, but am I going to like it? No, I'm not. I'll reserve pizza for days where I'm going to have a cheat day.
Well, I'm going to tell you, John. Now you may want to try Valerie Bertinelli's cauliflower pizza crust. That is the best one.
I like Valerie Bertinelli, and I like her a lot, but I don't think I'm going to try her cauliflower.
Got a good crust.
Well, Greg Mervich was from Ballistic Barbecue, was the first person I ever saw do a cauliflower crust pizza. And I asked him specifically about that pizza not too terribly long after he made that video. And he told me he'd probably never do it again. So Coleman, it's not on Amazon. It's on, you need to go currently to turbotrusser.com. You have to buy it direct. I don't know if it's available in any retail locations yet or on Amazon. So I bought mine directly from the turbotrusser.com website. So today I cooked a turkey. I had a 17-pounder, and I published this video today. The video of this cook is on Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel and their Facebook page, and I've shared it around to a couple of the groups that we frequent. But last year, when I did the turkey video, I put together what I called my best practices, turkey. I did all of the, I did a lot of the traditional methods that I've worked on and learned how to do over the years, which include brining the bird, uh, injecting the bird, drying out the skin as best you can, and doing all the little things you need to do to make what we would consider to be a great turkey. That video is last year's video. This year's turkey video, I went to the other end of that spectrum. I wanted to show you that you can make a good turkey, or you can make a great turkey depending on how you look at it, without having to go to all that extra work of the brine and the brining and the injecting. I bought a Butterball. This is a Butterball turkey that came from Walmart. I picked it up as a 98-cent per pound turkey. These turkeys, all of these grocery store variety turkeys like this, have been injected with a saline solution, which is not, it's not exactly the same thing as the brine that we would do, but this bird doesn't really need to be brined because it's already been injected with that saline solution. You can brine it if you want to, but I just don't really see the necessity in doing it with one of these birds. A brine is a requirement if you've got a fresh turkey. If you're buying a turkey from a farmer and the turkey's not had any, has been minimally processed, I think a brine is critical on that cook. Jeff, have you ever cooked a fresh turkey?
Yep. And you're absolutely right. If you do not brine a fresh turkey or inject it with a lot of butter, you can get a really dry breast.
Well, I've never had the opportunity to cook a fresh turkey, and it's probably my fault, but around here, if I wanted to get a fresh turkey, I would probably have to pay for it and get my name on it in May or June. And I'm just not in that mindset to get that done, because there's a limited number of them available from the farmers that are anywhere near me. And then I'm still going to have to drive several hours to get it when the time comes. And maybe next year I'll set myself a reminder, or I'll start shopping now for somebody I can buy one from next year, but we might do that. But anyway, you can make a good turkey without spending a fortune on it. Those fresh turkey, Jeff, do you remember what you paid for the one you bought?
It's been several years now, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, that's back when turkeys were like 39 cents a pound. I think, this one was maybe 79 cents a pound.
Now, really, where did you get?
From Whole Foods. They've got them over there.
They had a turkey that they had fresh turkeys that haven't been processed at Whole Foods.
That have not been. Yep, they have not had any processing done to them. Other than having the feathers plucked.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to check into that then, because all of the farm-to-table turkey sources that I've looked at here in North Carolina, you're looking at $4 and $5 a pound for these things at a minimum. They're expensive.
I don't know what they are now. I'd say this was, about 4 or 5 years ago, we did a fresh turkey.
Okay, so I'll have to look into that. But anyway, here's my bird. I put the turkey version of the turbo trusser on here, and you can see this one, instead of having chickens on it, this guy's a little larger, and it's got a turkey likenesses on it. And this is a pretty good view of how this thing hooks. It's real easy to do. You just run these hook rods. I think these hook rods on the turkey version, I don't know if they're any longer than the chicken ones or not, but on this bird, I hadn't lost my wingtips, so I was able to hook into the wingtips, which is where these guys are supposed to hook. And it does a beautiful job of holding this bird the way you want it. And I made several photos here. I seasoned this guy up. Or first of all, my process for the simple, everyday, quick and dirty turkey is I got that guy out of the packaging and I dried it off with paper towels as best I could. I took the neck and the giblets out, and I saved those. I put them in a vacuum seal bag and put them in my freezer, because I'm going to make a giblet gravy with those, but I don't know if I'm going to get that done in time to get that video out for this Thanksgiving. but I'll have it out for next year. Have you ever done that, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Jeff's getting
Some of the
choked
best
up on
gravy
his,
you can get.
Jeff's getting choked up on his whiskey over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony says the hooks are the same length. Yeah, so they are the same length, but the back plate's a little larger on the turkey and it's spread out a little wider, I believe, because you're going to be dealing with the bird. And like I said, this bird here is 17 pounds. I don't know. Let's see. I've got the package here that the turkey one came in, and I don't think it says anything about the maximum size turkey it'll hold. It doesn't, but based on what I see here, I think a 20 or 22 pounder would be no problem with that. So when you look at where these hooks are, I've got them fairly high into my wingtip. You could get these down in here a little bit lower, so you could get a decent sized bird trussed with this device. So I seasoned it up. Or first of all, I dried it off. I like to put a thin smear of olive oil all over the outside of my bird, and then I season it. And I use the Atlanta Grill Company turkey rub for this project, which is a really good turkey seasoning. It's great on chicken as well. And I cooked on the Kettle Joe today, and it's the first time I've cooked a big piece of meat like this on the Kettle Joe, and I just decided to pop the top off the Kettle Joe. This 17-pound bird's about all you can do in the Kettle Joe because I'm less than an inch away from the top vent on the Kettle Joe here. I noticed when I was looking in my gap that I could see the meat, so I popped the lid off there, and yeah, it's right up there at the top. This is a picture about an hour into my cook. I preheated this grill to about I let it get up to about somewhere between 250 and 300 before I put the turkey on. And then when I put it on, my temperature dropped, obviously, because I put a big cold hunk of meat in there. And it took nearly an hour for me to get back up to the 350 range. I wanted to be cooking this bird in the 350 to 400 degree range. So here we are closer to being done. This is pretty close to when I pulled it off. I was up to 400 degrees by the time I took it off, and we were on for exactly 3 hours for this cook. And my cook, some of you know and some of you don't, that I cook poultry until my temperature in the deep part of the breast, all the way down to the keel bone, is 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I do not cook mine to 165. It dries them out too much for my taste. I cook them to 150. I take it off, I wrap it in foil, and I let it rest for 30 minutes, and I'm always good to go. Here's the bird after I took it off the grill. And man, this bird looks as good or better than a lot of turkeys that I've put a lot of extra work into. What do you think, Jeff? You think that looks edible?
That's edible in my book, buddy. I was drooling over it.
Yeah. But I had fun. I started this guy. I put this guy on the grill at 9:30 this morning. And there's a side view of it. So there you can see what my deck looks like, how unorganized my man cave party deck is. We got the Pellet Joe sitting here. We got the Classic 3 sitting here. The Kettle Joe is currently, it's not living on my deck. It's living on the sidewalk down next to the house, but I pulled it up on the deck to do this cook. And then I've got the Classic 2 over there. And over in the background behind that's my gas grill, which we're going to do some more cooks on here very shortly. So that's the cooks that I've had. That's what I did today. I haven't done as much cooking this week as I normally do because my father-in-law and I've been busy in the yard this week. I've been doing a good bit. Let me show you one other picture or two here. This might not look
John,
like
just
it.
say you've been playing convict moving bricks.
This what's that doing? I didn't mean for that to scroll off. That is 20,000 pounds of landscaping stone, river stone, and my father-in-law and I. Let's see. I've got a picture of that up here. This picture is not going to show up very well, but that's the bank along the front side of our property with a sidewalk. We spread between Tuesday and Wednesday. My father-in-law and I put about 20,000 pounds. We moved it up through the yard with my mom's riding lawnmower and trailer and spread all that rock on that bank. And it took, we spent a half a day Tuesday and a half a day Wednesday working on that because we just couldn't work we couldn't do more than a half a day of that kind of work. Neither one of us. My father-in-law, man, he's a workhorse. He could outwork me any day, and he's 70 some years old, and I'm struggling to keep up with him. But he helped me. He helped me spread all that rock, and that's why I didn't have a lot of cooking going on this week. I didn't post a blog style post on the Atlanta Grill Company Facebook page yet this week, but that's coming tomorrow. I've got another little project I've been playing with that I'm going to post tomorrow. We're going to do a quick and dirty little keto thing on the Alpha wood-fired oven. So look for that to come up tomorrow afternoon. What are you cooking for your family for Thanksgiving this year, Jeff?
Well, actually, we're going to do Thanksgiving early this year because we're going to be up at the cabin Thanksgiving week. So tomorrow I'm doing our turkey. I'm going to do it out there on the bark, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently than, you and I do turkey the same way. I mean, we put it in the refrigerator, after we get it all nice and thawed, let it dry out for about an hour, let the skin dry out, and then we put some oil on it. And this week I was watching Myron Mixon's podcast, and he doesn't put oil on his. And he says the reason why he doesn't put the oil on it is he seems to think it makes the skin crispier. So I'm going to try it without oil this time.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Try it. You won't hurt anything by trying that. And I'd be curious about it too, because I've done it a lot of different ways. And early on I was doing that. I was not putting oil on it. And one of the things I learned later on is I would cook it most of the way without any oil on it, and then I'd baste a little oil on closer to the end. I've tried a lot of different things, but I didn't get to watch Myron live because I think you texted me during that. I was out spreading rock
you were
when he was doing that on Wednesday. But guys, go to Myron Mixon's Facebook page because he did a video on turkey. It would be worth watching. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to, but Jeff watched it, and I'm sure there's a bunch of good information there from Myron on how he prepares the turkey. So
the other thing that he did was he only allowed it to smoke. He puts it in a pan. He only allows it to smoke for an hour and a half. He says that's enough smoke, for any type of poultry. He says,
what did he cook it
over
on?
that, it starts, getting overly smoked. He cooked it on the Bark 1700.
Okay.
So I'm going to cook it on.
Well, I find that interesting that he didn't let it go long.
In the pan.
That's interesting because I think a pellet smoker puts a perfect smoke profile on poultry. But then again, I've not done a turkey. I keep trying to pound into people's head when they ask me about turkey. I say, do not over smoke that thing because they taste horrible.
Absolutely.
If you put too much smoke to it. But I've never had a problem with a pellet grill putting too much smoke. But I'm trying to recall if I've ever cooked a turkey on the pellet grill. I'm trying to remember if I have. I cook chickens on pellet grills all the time, but that cook's only going for an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes max on a big chicken. And I'm cooking up at 400 degrees or higher. So my smoke profile is naturally going to be lower. What temperature did Myron cook at?
I believe, if I remember correctly, he was running 350. And
Well,
he
so
ran it for
okay,
like I
so
say an hour and a half, and then
he's
he foil
cooking
covered
up
it
in the
with
higher
the
range. So that just goes to show that, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but less is more when it comes to smoking, especially on poultry. So
oh, absolutely,
it's
absolutely,
it's
because
it's
you
something
over smoke poultry and it's nasty.
yeah. I remember some of the first poultry I smoked before I had my Kamado grills. My mom wanted me to smoke her turkey breast, so I did. I smoked it. And at this time, guys, I was smoking on a Weber Smoky Mountain. It was the first real smoker that I bought. And I was like a lot of new people when it comes to smokers. I was under the impression that if I couldn't see smoke coming out of that grill or out of that smoker, that it wasn't smoking. So, and I was smoking with hickory. So I was being serious about it.
Learned real quick, didn't you?
Well, I thought it was awesome, of course, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I realized that I had put too much smoke to it when I gave it to my mom. And I came back to my mom's, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, and I was in another room, and my mom opened her refrigerator where some of this smoked turkey was living, and I could smell smoke when she opened that refrigerator. I oversmoked that, and that at that point I knew that was my first learning experience about dialing back the smoke, and I've never done that again since. Normally, I put a little bit of smoking wood in with this one today that I cooked, but I didn't put a whole lot compared to what a lot of people do. And I used cherry, which is a very light wood. I put it all on the very bottom of the fire grate, and then put all my charcoal in on top of it. So a lot of times though, when I cook poultry on my Kamado, or in that kettle grill, for instance, I don't use any smoking wood. I'll just use Kamado Joe Big Block because that charcoal has enough of a smoke profile on its own usually. I like the color. I get I've discovered that with peach wood and with cherry wood, I usually get a deeper color to my turkey when I smoke with that. So yeah, Brian says one small chunk of cherry if I use smoking wood at all with poultry. That's right. You want to go light with it. Fish does the exact same
Absolutely.
thing. If you're ever going to smoke meatloaf, it's the same way. You got to go light with it because some things just absorb smoke at a lot higher rate. So that's what I've done this week. And what I wanted to do is come in and talk to you guys tonight about your Thanksgiving turkey. I know I want to take some questions. If you're going to cook a Thanksgiving turkey this year, Jeff and I will, we'll debate your question. If you've got a question about how you want to do it, there's there's three schools of thought basically on cooking whole turkeys, and I'm in the minority because you saw how I just cooked mine. I like mine. I like to do mine whole. It seems to me that a majority of people in the social media communities want to spatchcock that turkey, or they want to cook it on the rotisserie. Uh, the rotisserie turkeys are fine. I don't have a problem with that, and I've done a video on that in the past. It's in the Kamado Joe Facebook or the Kamado Joe YouTube channel somewhere in there. I don't like the skin results when I do a rotisserie turkey. I like to have the skin edible, and I've not found a way to get the skin anything beyond rubbery on rotisserie. Jeff, have you done rotisserie turkey?
Nope, I've only done chickens because I'm in agreement with you on that. The
Okay.
rotisserie turkey, I just don't think you're going to get it.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's not my preference, but that rubbery skin's edible and it tastes delicious. It's just not got any kind of crunch or bite to it. It's different. So, Huzaifa, no, today's turkey, I did not inject it at all. That was part of the a reason I did what I did today. I wanted to do it the KISS method, the keep it simple method. And this turkey that I bought, I didn't do any of that with it. So if you want to see that, you need to look at last year's turkey video where I did that. I made seasoned butter to inject it. And I think that offers a flavor improvement a lot of times, but it's extra work at the same time. So
you didn't use AGC turkey brine on yours, John?
not today's cook.
Okay.
Last year I
I've got
did.
mine sitting in the turkey brine.
Yep. Last year I brined with that, and that's an excellent brine. And one thing I like about that brine, and you can take this one way or take it another way. That brine, if you use it as prescribed on the packaging, it's a little bit lower salt, a little bit less salty brine than most. That when I make a brine, my basic brine for anything I'm going to brine, there's a couple of ratios that never change, and that's the salt to water ratio and the sugar to water ratio. I use a ratio of 1 cup of salt per gallon of water. So the Atlanta Grill Company turkey brine does not have quite that heavy a ratio of salt. So
Yeah, because you're using 1 cup of their brine to 2 gallons of water. But I also want to give everybody a hint. If you're using the AGC brine, make sure you put the brining material in a pot of water, bring it up to heat, let that
right,
salt and everything dissolve. It also allows those flavors to really blossom before you put it into your
exactly.
brine. Then let it cool down before you put it in.
Right. And Devin, if you bought the Fireboard 2 drive, I don't think I would return it unless you just specifically want the Pro. Uh, the Fireboard 2 drive has 6 probe ports on it, and the only reason I recommend the Pro is because I like to use it at higher temperatures. I like to use it to run one of my Kamado Joes with the Dojo on it, and I like to cook some things on the Dojo that aren't pizza. But even if I do want to do pizza on the Dojo, I can still run it at 650 or 700 degrees. The probes, the K couple probes that come with the Fireboard Pro are rated for higher temperatures. But if you're not going to go over 500 or 550 degrees on whatever you're doing, the Fireboard 2 drive probes are fully capable of that. I think they're limited out at 575 or somewhere around in there. You just want to be
Yep.
careful with them. Yeah, don't sweat that. You're going to do fine. And down the road, if you want to upgrade, the Fireboard 2 Pro only has 3 probe ports on it. It's got one for an ambient, and then two additional probes, which for me that's always enough because, like I said, I run the grill with mine. I don't usually use meat probes. There's very few instances where I'll put a meat probe in something when I'm cooking it. Uh, Jeff, Jeff uses Jeff. You have the Fireboard 2 drive, right?
Correct. Yep.
So when you're that thing's going to be a perfect tool for you on the bark because that you could put 6 pieces of meat on that grill and put a probe in every one of them with the Fireboard 2 drive if you wanted
I
to.
could put more meat on that grill, and I got probes.
Mhm.
That thing is a beast.
Yeah. Well, you need to buy the Spark when it comes out. So like I said, I cook mine whole. Some people like to cook on the rotisserie, which is fine. Other people like the spatchcock. I've got no problem with any of those. I've done each of those methods more than once. The spatchcock method is the method that puzzles me to no end. I've never really grasped spatchcock. Now I understand why people want to do it. It helps cook. The bird will cook. It will cook faster. You'll get it cooked a little faster with that setup. But in my feeble, humble, uneducated redneck North Carolina Mind. I've got a couple of questions. All right. If we spatchcock a turkey, what are we going to do with it when we take it off the grill?
Put it on. Well, I'm going to put it on the board and cut it. Put it on the serving tray.
Are you going to cut it down
my
any
turkeys,
further?
Being whole. Absolutely, I'm going to have it all trimmed up. I mean,
Are you going to cut
never
it into
serve a
8 pieces?
turkey.
Are you going to have 2 breasts, 2 wings, 2 thighs, and 2 legs
Breasts are
when
going to
you're
be
done?
sliced into pieces.
Okay, so you're
Breasts
going to
are
end up
already
with
going to be
8.
sliced into slices.
You're going to end up with 8 pieces, right? My
No,
question
'cause I'm going to take
is,
my breasts. I'm going to slice them down.
yeah, and cut the breast, yeah, but before you start breaking down the individual pieces, you're going to cut it down into 8 pieces. So my question is why don't you do that before you put it on the grill? Instead of just spatchcocking it and butterflying it, if I've got my chicken or my turkey, either one, broken down into those 8 pieces that it's going to end up in anyway, I can take each one of those pieces off the grill when the time is right. When I cook my birds whole, or when I cook them spatchcock, the thigh meat and the leg meat and the wing meat are 20 to 30 degrees ahead of the breast because they're smaller, right? So, like, I didn't put the thermometer in my leg or thighs today on that cook, but I was watching the breast. So when I hit 150, I pulled it, but without even probing the thigh and the leg, I know from experience that both of those were in the 180 plus range, if not higher.
Yep.
But the good thing is the dark meat can handle that. Dark meat, that thigh and that leg can handle 200 degrees without any problem.
Well, yeah, because it has more blood vessels going through it and everything. Your breast is solid lean meat. There's no fat to it. So
Right.
I mean, you got to be really careful with your breast. You can dry it out quick.
Instead of spatchcocking, if I go ahead and cut that guy down into 8 pieces, I could pull my breast off whenever it's where I want it. I can pull my leg and my thighs off whenever I want it. Turkey wings don't do much for me. I'm not real sure why I even bother. There's not a lot of meat on a turkey wing. It's just like a chicken wing. There's not a whole lot there, but the wings are the pieces that suffer the most from overcooking when you're cooking it with everything else and where it's all coming off at the same time. My question is,
well,
I hope I'm. Go ahead.
To be honest with you, I'm down to cooking just turkey breasts now. I don't even bother cooking a full bird.
Well, that changes the game completely because then you can pull the whole thing off when it's ready. I haven't cooked the last turkey breast I cooked is that one I cooked for my mom that I put way too much smoke on. I haven't cooked another one since then. I need to do another one. I have I don't know. I bark at the price of turkey breasts when I go to the grocery store. It's usually cheaper for me to buy the whole turkey and then save the dark meat for myself and cook the breast because when you look at the price per pound, it's about like briskets. When you go buy a full packer brisket is a lot cheaper per pound than a flat. They want to sell you a flat cut and charge you a couple dollars a pound more for that. I'd rather just buy the whole turkey and cook the whole thing or break it down. I got no problem.
I'd rather get the point of the brisket.
Yeah, exactly. But you never see that. The only time I see a point ever separated is when you buy those Lobels or Lobels or whatever pastrami or corned beef pieces. Yeah. Those you can find flat cuts and point cuts if you look around enough for those. But I want to know what they're doing with the points when they cut them off of these flats that they're selling for $2 a pound more. It's crazy.
That's some of the things that make you go, because the point is a far better, superior piece of meat, in my opinion, than the flat. But yet, you pay more for just a flat.
Okay,
It's a go
here's a comment that I want to bring up. Let me say, Steven says, then I'll miss out on the carving photo. I'm really not going to miss out on the carving photo, because if you want to have that board laid out there where you've got all 8 pieces of your meat trimmed out, ready to go. The only piece of that that's really going to get carved is the breast. You're going to take those 8 pieces, the wings. You're not going to take meat off of the wings to serve it. You're not going to take meat off of the thigh. You may take the bone out if you want to of the thigh, but you're going to serve that drumstick bone in. The only piece that's going to get carved is the breast, and you're gonna pull that breast off the keel bone and off the ribs, and then you're gonna slice it against the grain all the way up, and you're gonna take that really large turkey breast and probably get 15 individual slices out of each one of them. But you're gonna line your board up. You still have to break the meat down to do that. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know, Jeff.
And what bugs me is the people who do the full turkey and they start carving on it, and they start carving on the breast with it still attached to the turkey.
Yeah, I've done
Man,
that.
they just make one heck of a mess out of it.
I've
They
done
make one
that.
heck of a mess out of it.
Yeah, you got to
Take
take
that
the
breast
breast.
off.
You got to take the breast off the carcass and then go up it lengthwise rather than shaving pieces off of it. But it's all preference. People are gonna that breast meat. They're gonna eat it different ways. My mom loves to make turkey sandwiches. She likes to have sliced turkey breast with lettuce and tomato, and she would shave it off like that, because that actually, if you're going to make a sandwich with it, and logistically you can get some bigger slices that fit a sandwich, fit a bread piece, fit a slice of bread better. I don't know. I'm no connoisseur of turkey breast. I'm a dark meat guy.
Sunday, the day after I cook the turkey, I'm making me a turkey roasty. Now, have you ever had one of those?
A turkey what?
Roasty.
Roasty? I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah. All right. What you do is you take red bliss potatoes and you boil them until they're just about done. You peel them and you boil them until they're just about done. Take them out of the water, put them in an ice bath, just put them in the refrigerator and let them sit overnight.
Yeah.
The next day, you take those potatoes and you shred them.
Mm-hmm.
Put oil and butter in your frying pan. Line your frying pan with those hash browns. Fill that up with, I'm going to put my stuffing in there and some gravy and my cranberry relish. Put more hash browns on top, and then when the bottom ones are done, you flip the pan over into the other pan, and it's this encased hash brown that's got your turkey, your stuffing, your gravy, your relish. It is out of the world. Off the hook.
Let me tell you something, Jeff. Okay, that sounds delicious. That you had me drooling halfway through your monologue there on this thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, see, Jeff's telling me, guys, that he and his wife are going to do keto in January, so Jeff can enjoy this stuff up till the end of the year. So
that's right.
I don't know. Keto.
We're going about it the sensible way. We're testing out all the recipes to see what we like. That way, when January comes, we got a menu planned, and it's not going, oh man, did we really make that? Right.
Well, the keto plan that I'm into here is I've had some days where I've struggled, but for the most part, it's been pretty easy. I've been really actually surprised. I've been doing the keto thing. I think, like I said, I'm in day 16 or day 17, and I weighed in tonight after I got a shower and got cleaned up, and I'm about 22.5 pounds down already. It's coming off pretty quickly, so I'm hoping I'm going to keep a roll going on that and get back to where I was a couple years ago after I lost all that weight the first time around. But this
well, it's showing in your face, John.
There's going to have to be some cheat time. there's going to have to be some cheat days. And I was talking to Luca. I don't know if Luca's still with me here, but Luca's been doing keto. He and his wife do keto, and I think they do it. I don't think they do it constantly. They do it kind of on an as needed basis. If you guys have ever met Luca, you'd never think Luca's the kind of person that needed to lose a pound. So he showed me this app, and since I'm a data geek and I'm a numbers geek, when I can get an app involved in something, it's usually going to help me be successful. There's this app called Carb Manager that's really cool if you ever want to look at keto. But keto is difficult, and I understand why it's difficult, because carbs, the only way I can describe it is carbs are addictive like cigarettes. They're addictive like nicotine. I'm a former smoker, and I know what it's like to have to quit that. And the same, you get the same sort of withdrawal from carbs that you do from nicotine. It's not quite as bad as nicotine, but it's hard because you don't realize what you're eating. Janice, yeah, we need to stay in touch. Then we need to be supporting each other. So we need to get talking about that. I'm looking for some things I can do. I want to do some grilling and wood fired oven cooking that's keto friendly, but at the same time, I want it to be something that everybody would want to try. And I've got a couple of things I'm looking at that are going to fit that bill, because there's nothing I hate worse than cooking something. And when I was dieting and losing weight the last time around, I know a lot of you guys were watching that. A lot of the stuff I cooked, I didn't even take a bite of it. I didn't eat any of it because I was afraid of it. I know the addictive qualities of the carbohydrates. So, I want to do some things that are keto friendly and they're awesome at the same time. So this little thing I'm going to do tomorrow, watch for this to pop up on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page. I've got this little, one of the things, wheat is something that's a no-no because it's all carbohydrates like rice and potatoes. Crackers. What I'm going to be doing tomorrow is making some crackers that are keto style crackers that are made out of cheese. So we're going to do those in the Alpha oven. And I did a test with that earlier this week, and it didn't pan out for me because the pan I used didn't allow me to end up exactly where I wanted to. So I'm going to do it again tomorrow in a different pan where I can get a good even cook. And we're going to have some cheese crackers coming out of this project that are off the hook. And Jeff, I think you'll enjoy these too. And since you can do it. You don't have to do them on the Alpha. You could do it in any oven. You could do it in your indoor oven. You could do it on your bark. But I want to do this one on the Alpha because I haven't done a cook on the Alpha lately. I got a comment today.
They'll come out good on that. Yeah,
I know they will. I got a comment from somebody today when I posted one of my turkey pictures on the Kettle Joe. He's looking at my deck there and he's seeing the Pellet Joe and he's seeing these other two Kamado Joes. He says, why would you cook that on the Pellet Joe when you've got a ceramic grill right there, or you've got a pellet grill right there? Why would you choose what he considered to be the lowest option on my deck to cook that turkey? And I love that question. That's a question I love to answer because every grill that I've got is a grill that I enjoy cooking on. I don't. If I looked at it through that pair of glasses, I would probably only ever cook on my Kamado Joe Classic 2 or 3, right? Because those are maybe the Ferraris of the Kamado world. They're best in class. They do everything they're supposed to do, and they do it really well. But I do consider myself blessed to have what I have out here on the deck. I know everybody doesn't have that kind of variety to choose from, but I do feel privileged to have the variety of stuff I have to cook on. And it's fun to use it all. I don't let any the only grill that I've let sit idle for any length of time is my Kamado Joe Jr. And it's not because it's not a great grill. It's because I'm mad. I'm upset that Kamado Joe hasn't produced a stand for that grill where I don't have to get down on my knees to be at grill level with it. Is that horrible, Jeff, or am I being reasonable there?
No, I think you're being reasonable, but I saw one post today where this guy made uh, just a real cheap stand out of, let's see, three,
I saw it. It was
six
cinder
concrete
block.
blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That brought it up to, if you looked at it, he had it sitting next to his classic, and it was like
he
right there. I'm going,
he
wow.
had about $20 worth of cinder blocks, and he topped them with 4 12 by 12 caps and set that thing. I might do that. I might just. I don't know. How would I be okay if I put that on my wooden deck, or would I could put that up.
Yeah.
I've moved the Junior off from the man cave party deck. It's currently up on a concrete deck on the other side of the house, but I might just do that. It looks like he had 1, 2, 3. He had 5 to 6 or 10 to 12, 10 maybe 10 cinder blocks. He had one lengthwise, one. I don't know, but those cinder blocks are $1.50 a piece, and the 12 by 12 caps.
So
I don't know what they cost. It wouldn't cost me anything to build that and then set my Joe Jr. up
he
on
made
it.
it
And then
24 inches square.
yeah, I might. I probably should do that because this far into the game, I don't think Kamado Joe's going to build a stand, build an
I don't
optional
think so.
stand for that grill. And there is a big green egg solution that will work on this, but it's really expensive because you need their small stand. I can't remember what it's called, and then you need the nest or cradle that comes with the Mini Max. Those two pieces together are a perfect stand for the Joe Jr. But when I looked at that, it's nearly $400 worth of stuff to make that happen. Brian
For
says
a
he wants a control.
$249 grill.
Yeah, Brian says he wants a control tower for the Junior. I don't know. It would be cool maybe, and it would kind of consolidate the line to make them all look the same. I don't know. The way I look at it is if they build the control tower for the Junior, it's going to end up just like the control tower for the Classics and the Big Joe. People are going to complain about the powder coating peeling off of it. Uh, I think the powder coating that they put on the cast iron there holds up a lot better than the powder coating that goes on the cast aluminum. So I don't know. My dream is that Kamado Joe would allow me to spec out a man cave edition of the Kamado Joe Classic 3 because my man cave edition, it would have to be a limited edition, and it would have to have a brass plate on the back where they're numbered, where they would only make 1,000 of these grills. They'd sell them at a premium, but my Kamado Joe Classic 3 Man Cave Edition is going to be flat black finish. It's going to be flat black, and the control tower is going to be unfinished. It's not going to have the black powder coating on it. I have learned from experience that those control towers work a lot better after the powder coating comes off. They don't stick anymore. They don't freeze into place
Nope.
after the powder coating comes off. They work great. And they may not be pretty, but I keep telling people also that my grills are not prom queens. They're not prom queens. They are more like a defensive lineman from a football team that just got beat 42-0. So
Will use tools.
yeah, wrung out and hung up wet. Is that a valid phrase there, Jeff?
That's valid. Yep. Absolutely.
So I don't know. I understand. I understand the desire to have a beautiful looking grill, But let me tell you this: before you come onto the social media forums talking about how pretty your grill is, how you want it to look beautiful all the time, and when you're comparing it to the Corvette, when you're comparing the outside finish on that grill, don't open that grill up and let me see 3 months worth of crud on your grill grates that you're cooking on. All right, enough complaining. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer, that Jeff and I can answer pretty quickly about what you might want to do with your Thanksgiving turkey? Uh, Russ says he's happy with the daisy wheel. Oh, I didn't have any. The daisy wheel, the daisy wheel. Let me back up a few years here before the control tower came out. Before the control tower existed, there were a lot of complaints about the daisy wheel. There were two major complaints about the daisy wheel that people wanted fixed. Number one, when you open the dome lid on your Joe, the cap, the slider top on the daisy wheel wouldn't stay where you put it. It would slide off. That was a big complaint. People wanted that fixed. The second thing is they didn't want rain coming in through the holes in the top of the daisy wheel. That was a big complaint. People complained about that all the time. So we designed, Bobby Brennan came up with this design for the control tower. The control tower solved both of those problems. It did. No more rain coming in through the holes on the top of the daisy wheel, and no more change in the opening position when you open your dome lid. So the only complaints about the daisy wheel or about the control tower beyond that were the fact that the powder coat comes off and it gets gunky and sticky, and it does. It when most of your cooks are low and slow, it gets gunked up and it gets sticky and they freeze shut. They freeze. They always loosen up when you heat them back up, but I don't know, Jeff. What are some other complaints about the control tower that we see these days?
Those are the big two. The paint, chipping and the thing getting stuck where you can't open it, and then you have people who sit there and they bang on it with a rubber mallet or something, and they have the control tower and the ceramics in one hand and it's
Yeah,
broken off in the other, and they claim, "Oh, it just happened.
it
I
just
didn't
popped
do
off. Yeah,
anything." Yeah,
I've seen that,
it just
and it's a different set of problems. I like the control tower. Now, that being said, for those of you who have seen up close what the top vent looks like on the pellet Joe, and a little bit about what the top vent looks like on the kettle Joe, there's been a couple of design changes there that may benefit both of those problems. I haven't been able to look at it. I don't know what it would look like on the Kamado. I really like to see it, but there's a little bit of a design change on the pellet Joe, I think, that might help with all of these problems. It won't help with the powder coating flaking off. Jeff, have you seen any powder coat flaking on the top vent of your pellet Joe yet?
no, mine hasn't flaked at all on the pellet job.
I
But
didn't.
then
I'd have to,
again, I don't think it doesn't get to the heat that the regular Kamado does.
yeah, but the high heat's not what's causing the flaking on these things. It's the low heat and the grease. The one of the things I noticed, my Classic 2 and Classic 3, both of them took a long time for my powder coating to start flaking off. And the reason mine took a lot longer than most people's is because a majority of the cooks that I do are higher heat cooks. I think the problem is more prevalent on the grills where a majority of the cooks are the low temperature cooks, the low and slows. I really think those are the ones
Hmm.
that are eating the powder coat out.
Could be.
I don't know. All right. Well, Let's see. Cindy says she got tired of it sticking and traded it in for a smokeware cap. I bought a smokeware cap. I think some of you know that, and you saw some pictures of me using it. I used it for 6 months or so. I used it on my Classic 3 for 6 months or so, because that's the Classic 3 is the grill that I cook meat on. I don't cook meat on my Classic 2 anymore, and that's a whole nother story. So I didn't have any problems with it sticking. I didn't have any problems with it. The only problem I had with the smokeware stainless steel cap is I just did not like the way that it looked. I don't like the way it looks on the grill, and that's I don't know. Everybody has their preferences. Mine is that I just don't like the way it looks. Other than that, it's good enough. It gets dirty, it gets cruddy looking. It needs to be cleaned, but it is easier. You can clean that one up to where it looks almost new again if you put a little elbow grease in it or soak it in some degreaser. I don't know what, Jeff, if you probably hadn't ever bought one of those, have you?
No, mine. I mean, both of my control towers are chipped. I don't care. Cook on.
Yeah.
That's
Mine.
right. Don't sweat the small stuff. Cook on.
Mine are beyond chips. I've posted some pictures of mine, and I've had some people say, "Man, to me, my especially the one on my Classic 3, it's rough looking. It's really rough looking, but I'm proud of that. I don't know. It's kind of like it's
it's earned its stripes.
Yeah, I like to call it a patina, or I call it battle scars. Yeah, it's
absolutely
my grill. Like I said, it's not a prom queen, and it's not the centerpiece of a beautiful. Now, if I had a $30,000 outdoor kitchen space out there that was all rocked in and all beautiful, I probably would have bought a Kamado instead of a Kamado Joe. I would have gone ahead and bought, that guy, and not be dealing with what we deal with now. But I cook a lot. That's another thing. I do cook more frequently on my grills than the average Kamado owner does. So mine's gonna have miles on it. And I know you do too. You cook as frequently or more frequently even than I do.
Yeah, we very rarely use the indoor kitchen for dinner. I mean,
yeah.
So I lost. Last count I had was we had only used the indoor kitchen 82 times since April of 2017.
Yeah.
Everything's cooked outside.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure you cook more. You run yours more than I do for sure. But I've got a grill fired up 4 or 5 days a week out there doing something, and sometimes it's multiple grills. So anyway, we've been going an hour and 20 minutes here. So anyone have the unicorn stainless? Mike is referring to the cap that was on the Projo, and the stainless also came on the standalone models of the older Classic 1s. Now I've had the experience of owning one of those. I had one of the standalone Classic 1s here for a while that had that cap on it. It does look nice, but it is horrible for staying where you want to put it when you raise the lid. It's far worse than the ones that were powder coated. It was slick. It would move. It would not stay where you put it when you raise the lid. And they were also expensive. The Projo, Jeff, do you know if they're still making the Projo? I'm not sure that they are.
I don't think they are. I think they sold out till the end of their stock, and it may be a custom order thing for somebody who wants it for a restaurant.
I know 2 people that have one. I think Chef Eric's got one, and
he does.
Chef Eric has a Projo that's got the stainless, and I know somebody else has got one. I'm trying to remember who it is. It's slipping my mind.
It's not one of us peons.
No. Anyway, yeah, guys, that's a really expensive item. That stainless steel one is 3 or 4 times the cost of the other one, so it's really expensive. But let's see here. Anthony says, talking about our turkey cooks this year, I'm planning on using the Fire and Flavor turkey brining kit with apple and sage.
Okay.
Inject flavored butter. Anthony, I don't think it would hurt it. You could do all that to a butterball turkey. I don't think you're going to have a problem. I don't think it does anything on the negative side to brine a turkey that's already been injected. And the main reason is those saline injections that they put in these turkeys are not as high a salt concentration as most of your brines. So you're going to be just adding more salt, a little bit higher level of salt to it. And I don't think you can go wrong with a butter injection. I like to melt. For that turkey I cooked today, if I was going to inject it, a 17-pound bird, I would have melted a pound of butter. I would have melted 4 sticks of butter, and I would have put a half a teaspoon of granulated garlic in that. I would have put a half a teaspoon of granulated onion in that, and I would have put a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne or chipotle pepper in that, and mixed it up really well, and I would have injected that entire pound of butter into that bird. Jeff, what do you think about that?
I'm right in there with you. The one thing that, going back to the Myron Mixon videos, he took all his powders and whatnot, and he ran them through a spice mill to make them like a dust. He says that way you don't have to worry about them, clogging up your injector.
Right.
And I hadn't really ever thought about that. I know I have fought with clogged injector before. So
in that case,
to consider.
You could use onion powder or garlic powder, but I find that in terms of injector use, the granulated onion, granulated garlic don't give me any problems in my injector. But my injector is not anything fancy. It's one of these rather simple stainless steel injectors, and it's got big enough holes out there on the end that the granulated stuff's not going to clog it up. It's when you're putting chopped stuff in there in bits that are a lot bigger than that you can clog your injector. But yeah.
Well, he recommends getting the injector that's the straight tube rather than the one that's got the 2 openings at the end. He says that's where you get clogged because the stuff goes past the openings and then it works its way back and then you're clogged. As the straight tube, it shoots straight out.
Yeah. There's a lot of injector options out there. So I think turkeys definitely benefit from the flavored butter injection. You got nothing to lose with that at all. It also injects some additional fat back in. The breast is the part that benefits most from that. But I heat that butter, and got to let that flavor kind of come out from the heated butter. It's kind of a messy process because when you inject that melted butter into your cold turkey, when some of it seeps back out of the holes where you've injected and it solidifies on there, it doesn't look pretty when you do it, but just leave it. Don't worry about what it looks like before you put it on the grill because it's going to look amazing when it comes off.
Another nice injector is or injection fluid is go over to Bass Pro and they've got the Cajun butter.
Right.
That is really good. That is really good in poultry.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. You can do whatever. It just needs to be a fat, and butter works great.
Mm-hmm.
And Cindy says you can infuse your butter with herbs. Yes, when you're melting that butter, if you throw a couple of pieces of rubbed sage in that, a couple of sprigs of thyme or rosemary or all of that. Some of that flavor is
all three.
that flavor is gonna infuse the butter. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Sage and poultry, thyme and poultry. I'm not quite as big a fan of rosemary with poultry, but sage and thyme, that's money. Yes, it is. The a lot of the times though, the seasoning that I'm going to put on the outside of the bird will have those elements in it. So there's a lot to think about, a lot to choose from there. Cindy, you should consider playing with some of those salts you just bought. Cindy made a post today in one of the social media groups about some flavored salts that she bought from this company called Saltworks. I think it's a Scandinavian. I can't remember where they are. They're maybe a Scandinavian company, but they've got a lot of infused flavored salts, kind of like the Jacobson salts that come out of Portland that they sell over at Atlanta Grill Company. I would definitely, Cindy, I would definitely play with some of those salts. If you wanted to dry brine a turkey with some of those flavor infused salts, I don't think you could go wrong with that either. Iceland, she says, is where they come from. Yeah. So yeah, you won't miss that. So guys, we got to wrap up. We've been going long here. We've been going an hour and 20 minutes. Watch this, Jeff. Here we go. Look at her. You know what Tanya's doing? Hey guys, Tanya's
it's
watching
halftime.
Yeah. Oh, it's halftime. Okay. We're lucky to even have Tanya at past 9 o'clock because the Tar Heels are playing tonight.
That's
They
right.
started at 9, but it's halftime. So Tanya, we're getting ready to wrap up. And
yeah, good, because I can listen to the second half.
Yeah,
I've been having to imagine the announcers calling the game.
Right. All right.
Taking up her time.
Yeah, she's watching the Tar Heels game up there. So
that proof positive that I love John. I'll
be posting pictures of those turkey breast tomorrow.
Yeah, be sure and do that. Take a lot of pictures, and we'll talk about that. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week just yet. Next week will be the last live stream we do before Thanksgiving. I think I need to look at the calendar. I may or may not do a live stream on the Friday after Thanksgiving. We'll just have to see. So there you go, Tanya. You've got a fan in there.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. And Tanya, I appreciate you doing what you do on the back end there. So, guys, if you have any suggestions of things you'd like to see discussed here on the Friday night live streams, leave me a comment. Let me know what they are, and I will definitely try to work all that stuff in. I'm constantly looking for good topics. Maybe next week I'll talk about some side dishes to go along with your Thanksgiving turkey, some stuff I've done in the past that come out really well, and maybe some dessert options for Thanksgiving as well. I've got a handful of those that are really popular. They're really amazing, and none of them are keto friendly. So that pumpkin pound cake that I made is still top notch in my book. I made pumpkin pound cake from some homemade pumpkin puree. Oh boy, that was good. My pumpkin pie is also off the hook. So yeah, fire starters.
I tell you what, John,
fire starters.
You can tell the difference between something made with fresh pumpkin and something made with canned pumpkin. And I'll take fresh pumpkin any day of the week.
I don't know if I could tell the difference or not, because the canned pumpkin puree usually is pure pumpkin puree with nothing else added to it. Stephen wants to talk about fire starters, and just on a closing note here, I'm going to tell you, I got an email today from Luft Industries, and you guys may be familiar with the Luft lighter. It's a forced air heat gun sort of design that people use to light their charcoal with. These guys sent me an email and said, hey, we would like to send you one of these things so you can try it out, do what you want to do with it. And if you like it, we'd like for you to show it to your audience. You know, they're doing this based on my YouTube channel. And Atlanta Grill Company sells the Loof Lighter. That's a product they sell. So I decided I'm going to tell these guys, yeah, I'd like to have one, and I'll do a little demo on it. But I also asked them, I told them, you know, I said, I do social media for Atlanta Grill Company, and they sell your product line. And I said, I would really like to get my hands on that Loof Lighter X and do some demo on that guy as well. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if they'll cough one of those up for me or not, but I really hope they do, because I would like to do a video showing the Loof Lighter and the Loof Lighter X. Those are some fire starter options that are out there now. So we'll see what's going on. I don't know how long it might take to get that. I don't even know, you know, we'll see what happens. It was somebody in their marketing department that sent me the email. So I would really like to get the Loof Lighter X just to try it, because that's one of these things. It's a battery powered version of the Loof Lighter. And it's also really expensive.
I used it at the ACE convention.
It's like, those things are like $300. They're not cheap. And I don't know what the retail price is on the Loof Lighter. It might be like $69, the basic one that you have to plug in. But the battery powered version of that thing's expensive. And I would really like to try one of those out, see how it works. So guys, we're going to sign off. We're going to shut down. I appreciate you hanging out with me. We'll be back next Friday, so I hope everybody has a great weekend. Until next time, thanks, guys.